He's got it.
You got it.
He's got it.
We got it. Oh, God.
You see that thing?
Coming up on The Real Guys, Ken Ford and Tommy Nelms experience the rips off Cape Cod.
It's like doing water aerobics.
I know it.
It's 50% aerobic, 50% fishing, and 100% crazy.
My pants are falling off.
Topwater flies with striped bass. 100 years ago, President Theodore Roosevelt designated Florida's Pelican Island as the first wildlife refuge. In celebrating this century of conservation, Ken and Tommy are introduced to one of 535 refuges in the 50 states. Monomoy off Cape Cod was established as a wildlife refuge in 1944. These 7,600 acres provide resting, nesting, and feeding habitat for a variety of birds and other wildlife. It's been a longtime favorite for birders and anglers. George Ryan's been guiding and fishing the flats off Monomoy for years.
So we're probably going to fish some of this area here, also some of these flats here. So that's where, you know, this area will come into play, and we'll be in the lee of the wind.
I started fishing Monomoy Island somewhat by accident. Had someone mention it to me, and I took the shuttle boat out here from this marina, and it was like a revelation to me. I had never done much flats fishing for striped bass, and once I got out there, the island got deep under my skin, and I found like a home for my fishing.
We already got a bunch of whitecaps in here, and this is protected. This is North Monomoy Island where we're heading, and that's where we're going to fish today.
We got up in the morning, the conditions were horrible. High wind, 20 to 30 knots, blowing, I think, out of the southwest, which knocked out all the flats he'd been fishing the previous 2 days. But what a great day, because the bird life on Monomoy is incredible.
Now, we can see as we're coming ashore here, we've got a lot of nesting gulls here on the island, because basically this is really a gull rookery. Now, some of these birds are pretty young. We can see two together there.
Right.
Those ones are probably just over a week old. The ones to the left are a little bit longer. So these things grow really fast. Oh yeah, they grow very fast. But some of these gulls are still on eggs. As I said, basically this is a gull rookery.
And they stay close to mama, I
They stay
presume.
close to mama. How the adults feed the chicks, and if we can get a little bit closer, they have a red dot on the bottom of their beak. So what the chicks do is they'll peck it or hold it, and it stimulates the adult gulls to regurgitate, and that's how they feed their young. All right, guys, why don't we slow on up and we'll get everybody up there about at the same time. If there's anything in there, it's going to be real jumpy. So we'll ease up, and we'll want to move along the same line. We don't want one guy way out in front of another guy.
My passion fishing in this area is certainly to sight fish for striped bass, where we have the very shallow, clear, sandy bottom flats that allow us to fish just the same way as if you're fishing for bonefish. And for me, it's the most exciting type of fishing to do for stripers.
Way out here in front of us.
12 o'clock for me.
Yeah, there might be one there, or a little bit more to your 11.
Okay.
That might be something on the bottom, though.
The only constant in saltwater fishing is the wind's going to blow.
The wind is going to blow wherever you go, like if you're here or Belize or Alaska or
anywhere in the world.
On the water, the wind is going to blow.
And that keeps a lot of guys from fishing, which is probably good. It leaves more fun.
That's true. I don't mind.
And this may sound crazy, but I can literally go out and wade fish the flats and not catch one fish and have a good time. It's just so nice being out there and trying to anticipate that big fish coming by. Today, we just didn't see that many fish. The weather was tough, the wind was really strong, and there are days like that. But you gotta keep trying, you gotta keep pressing, do what you can. But it was one of those days that the fish won. Fish gotta win every now and then, so they won today.
When The Real Guys, Ken Ford and Tommy Nelms, return to Monomoy National Wildlife Refuge off Cape Cod, Massachusetts, their luck turns around as they try a different option, fishing the rips with Captain Jeff Walton. real guys, Ken Ford and Tommy Nelms, are fishing in the Monomoy National Wildlife Refuge. While Ken and Tommy love to wade fish in shallow water, the weather's not permitting them to enjoy the Monomoy Flats on this trip. But as they head out with Cape Cod native Captain Jeff Walther, they find other ways to enjoy catching striped bass.
I get into fishing, well, because that's what my grandfather did all the time. My father does it, and it's something I've just loved my whole life, and that's what I do.
We didn't think we could even go out. The fog was so bad. And Jeff knew where to go, fortunately. He's been here all his life, and he worked his way through the channel, and it was low tide. We saw people digging clams, we saw seals having fun, and I'm sitting there looking around and saying, Hoot, I don't know about this. I hope Captain Jeff knows where he's going. And we went right on through that fog, and all of a sudden it cleared just a little bit, and things started getting a lot better about then. Hit! I thought, buddy, I lost again. I lost again.
Well, what I'm going to do is ask Jeff which one he thinks is going to pick up the first fish, and that's the one I'm going to use.
I take this one.
All right.
We ended up going and fishing some of the rips off of the east side of South Monomoy, fishing squid flies.
We were using different flies. Mine was sinking a little bit, his was on top.
We use orange a lot because it resembles the natural color of a scared squid. They turn different colors from orange into reds and reddish browns, and so orange works pretty well. Leave that floater right in that first wave for a minute and see what happens. Just jerk it a little bit around. This part of the rip's going to toss us around a little. Oh, they're coming up over to our right.
Oh, yeah. Come on, you son of a gun.
God, that is so fine.
I know it. I know this is kind of crazy, isn't it?
Oh, one
yeah,
just hit it.
Yeah.
He hit right behind it. Oh, he got
Did he get it?
I think you got him that time again.
I'm gonna say it.
No, he got off. He got off. There's Gummit. He got off.
He did?
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
That was just worth you watching you jump around. You were jumping around more than a fish.
We were having to cast in that first break of waves coming over that riptide, and it was really weird. It's a different kind of fishing for us, and it took us a while to catch on.
Oh my gosh. Oh, he's back again. He's back again.
You got him now.
He hooked him. He tried to set the hook.
I know it.
I think you got him. I think you got him.
Hot old muddy.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna see.
Should I go look again?
You said it about 10 times.
We're gonna
Hot
I
old.
think you got the hook in him.
Oh, gosh.
Oh shit, I just had a
Oh,
strike.
yeah, we're gonna sit here for a minute.
I just had a strike.
Fish runs, just let them run. We'll go through when we need to. We're gonna try and get a double here.
Yeah.
We're in the hot spot.
I know it. Mine just got a hit. Trying to get back out. That was too funny. When Tommy Nelms hooks a fish, it's probably just about as much fun just to sit there and watch him because he likes to hoop and holler. He acts a little crazy, but he's always done that since he was a kid. He's acted just a little bit nutty, which he is a little bit nutty.
All right. One more reel. Please take another 2 or 3 feet of line. That's good. Right up over my head. When
God,
you
it's a
can.
pretty
When you
fish.
can. There he comes. There we go.
Very nice. Very nice. Now let me get my camera out.
Yeah.
My usual deal.
Yes.
We're making progress.
We,
We're making progress. They're wearing me out.
Jeff, I'm gonna snap a little snapshot of you guys.
Yeah. Oh, gee.
too much fun doing it on the
It
surface.
is. I had no idea. I think
That's
we're catching on to what you were saying. It's just, you got to move it. You got to move it. You're
Yeah,
right.
you do.
You got to
You
move
gotta
it.
make it look like it's swimming.
Yeah.
You gotta get it to
Yeah.
look like that squid's trying to get away.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that's what the purpose of the orange squid aren't really orange. They turn orange and brown
orange.
when they're scared.
Yeah.
So
And that one was scared.
it was terrifying.
Well, let's do it again. Let's do it again, Jeff.
When the real guys return, Even lunchtime doesn't stop Tommy Nelms from hooking up with striped bass in the waters around Monomoy National Wildlife Refuge off Cape Cod. After all, when you're hot, you're hot. As Ken Ford and Tommy Nelms fish the waters in and around Monomoy National Wildlife Refuge in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, it's Tommy who seems to have the knack for catching striped bass in the rips under the direction of Captain Jeff Walther. Ken Ford isn't giving up, though.
Old Doc Ford is scrambling a little bit here. He's sucking some wind. I don't know, I'm struggling, but I'm having a lot of fun watching Tommy. Oh! God, they're whacking that thing, aren't they?
A rip is created by the current rushing over a shoal, and it creates a place for the fish to feed, in this case striped bass, and sometimes bluefish where we were today. It creates standing waves from the current coming up and pushing up the shoal, and it gives an ambush place for the bass to sit and get the bait as it gets tossed around in the heavy current. So you get up on the smooth side and put your lure or fly into that jumbled up water.
Yep. You got him? Oh, yeah.
All right, keep working that other one.
Oh, yeah.
You're on that time.
I tell you what it is, every time, Jeff, every time I pop it on the top.
Yep.
They hit it.
Gives us that escaping squid look.
Yeah. Let me, I'm gonna get,
What you do, popper?
I guess I ought to put double poppers on or something. I don't know.
Well, I think we may have to.
You have to keep your eye and keep your concentration on that fly at all times. We missed a lot of fish that just didn't strike, but the ones that we caught, you could actually see every single strike. So if you took your eyes away off from your fly or your plug, it wasn't going to work.
We got a little better edge right here, so we'll try this. It's gonna be a little rougher though.
Okay. Don't!
Hey!
No! So funny.
Hey, that's enough.
The man with a hot hand.
Oh, he just...
Captain Jeff is very knowledgeable because he had a lot of different plans. He said, look, if this doesn't work, we're going to do this over here. If this doesn't work, we're going to do this over here. The wind's coming out of this way, the tide changes at such and such a time. He was just positive. He knew we were going to get some fish.
There you go.
Oh, man. You've been doing it today. Jeez.
Oh, man.
There we go.
Hey, take a picture. This is better than I'll call it.
Okay, all right, okay. I'm gonna get my camera. Hang on a second.
Well, no. Well, he got a little stomach to him.
He does.
Let me get my camera.
Get a camera.
I'll get my camera out.
Full of squid poppers.
That's right. That boy gave me a tussle, Jeff.
Up he goes. You didn't even break his spirit.
Good job.
Didn't even break his spirit, huh?
Nope, he took right off.
Your spirit was not broken.
So I think Captain Jeff was getting a little frustrated with his other fishermen on the boat. Tommy Nelms was doing his job. I mean, Tommy caught 4 big stripers out on the rip, and I'd caught nothing. And I'd hooked some fish. Captain Jeff had done his job, so we're gonna go in and get lunch, and he says, well, you know, maybe Ford can catch something with his spinning rod and fishing with this unweighted sluggo or bass assassin or whatever they call it. So I'm getting a little frustrated, and I go sit down, starting to make my sandwich, and I hear Nelms yelling and making a bunch of racket. Well, he casts about 2 times, and he hooks about a 30-inch striper right next to the boat.
Hey, Ken, I'll let you reel him in. Come on, reel him in.
Tommy, would you let me reel that one in? Let me see. Would you let me reel it in today?
I want you to reel him in. Here,
Oh, it's too strong. It's too strong. I can't do it.
Hold the rod up a little bit higher.
Hold it up a little higher.
You've had days like that when you've been fishing with your buddy where you catch nothing and your buddy's killing you and he's making fun of you and you're starting to feel a little inadequate.
You've got the stuff today.
We got stuff today. There we go.
There's the slug up.
Oh, that's good. That'll be a great shot. I'm telling you, that'll be a good shot.
That's the way so
Now,
big.
is that any different than a largemouth, Tommy?
It's a little bit different.
When the real guys, Ken Ford and Tommy Nelms, return aboard Captain Jeff Walther's striped tees, will Ken have to face the agony of defeat by the striped bass? The real guys, Ken Ford and Tommy Nelms, have had their challenges on their trip to Monomoy National Wildlife Refuge. In 2 days of trying to fish the flats, this striper was the only one caught waiting. Winds and poor visibility made it virtually impossible for flats fishing. Winds are common here at Monomoy. In fact, it's a storm that broke these islands from the mainland in 1958. 20 years later, the islands split during a blizzard and left in its wake the present-day 2.5-mile stretch of North Monomoy and the 5-mile arm of South Monomoy.
It's been around for 5,000 years at least. It's just a drift of sand that was created after the glaciers moved back. But its human history started with the Indians, probably 6,000 to 8,000 years ago. And when historians started to talk about the Indians there, they were called the Monomoyics.
Monomoy National Wildlife Refuge is over 7,600 acres. Of that 7,600 acres, only 2,100 acres are upland above the high water mark. We have over 3,000 acres of intertidal zone, and the rest is, right now, part of Nantucket Sound.
It's one of the foremost places in the world for looking at shorebirds. It's a globally recognized shorebird refuge. There's always something beautiful and fascinating to see on Monomoy.
I like fishing around Monomoy because it is such a beautiful place, and they've done a great job as a national wildlife refuge, is keeping it neat and beautiful and undisturbed, and the habitat is just perfect. The waters are clean, the fish are there, and even though we've acquired a lot of new fishermen in the area, it's still a wonderful place to be.
Captain Jeff Walther has been lucky to experience Monomoy National Wildlife Refuge since he started fishing with his father at an early age. Having experienced a lifetime of changing weather on the Cape, Walther has mastered a variety of options. He's chosen to fish Ken Ford and Tommy Nelms on the Rips, where current rushes over a shoal, creating waves and a perfect feeding spot for striped bass.
Jeff said, all right, Ford, he said, you're not getting off this boat until you catch a fish. So we go back out, and I'm fishing on top with the same fly Tommy's caught all those stripers on, and I get strikes and I miss them, and finally he says, look, I think they've switched over to sand eel. So he puts a sand eel fly on with a sinking line, and after about 5 minutes, I get a good strike.
There's a round of applause, a giant round of applause from Monomoy Island, the mysterious Monomoy man that's over there.
We're gonna put it in neutral, and you're gonna crank like crazy until we get down to the ridge.
Okay.
And then
Pump and crank.
Then I'll put it back. Yeah, just whenever you can get line,
Yeah.
take it. And we're gonna drift right towards the edge. And I'm gonna put it back in gear.
All right.
And you're gonna work them up, and then I'll put it in gear. We'll bring them up over the ridge so we don't have to go in that slough.
All right.
I'm pulling for you, Hood. I'm getting real thirsty.
I know it.
Don't give them any slack.
The Monomoy Monster.
I didn't want to eat dinner at midnight. So Ken came through in the clutch, and he finally caught his only fish late in the afternoon. So he did a good job on that.
Get his head up, swing him over. We got him.
Perfect. Perfect. All right, Hood, get a picture of him. Oh, yeah.
You got it turned on, Tommy?
Yeah, it's ready to go.
All right, just a second. Let's get in
Oh,
here.
yeah, this can be good. This can be good.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, one more. To do it horizontal, the fish horizontal.
Yeah.
Oh, that's even better. Oh, it's just so much.
Oh, thank you.
All
Thank you.
right.
Thank you. Thank you. Goodness.
We'll get this.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. He's healthy.
Yeah.
There he goes.
Thank you. Thank you, Thomasino. Thank goodness. Fourth quarter. We have done it in the fourth quarter. I better let you slide that in there so I don't screw it up.
He was starting to
This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.